What I do want to do now is save you money, because joining us now is my good friend Mark Livingstone. Mark has been a supporter of our show since the day I got on the air, 10 years. We're in our last day of our 10th year anniversary week. And I'm like, wow, I got to get Mark Livingstone on because you got great deals going on. Mark, you have saved my listeners, not thousands, not tens of thousands, millions of dollars over 10 years. Instead of paying banks exorbitant fees and PMI, they put it in their pocket. And he's joining us now, Mark Livingstone, Cornerstone First Financial. Hey, Mark, great to have you with us, man.
Hey, John, great to be here. Thank you for having me on. Coming at you live from the Cornerstone Command Center, 6 blocks north of the White House on Massachusetts Avenue, Northwest D.C., from my 9th-story window, looking at the MPD cruisers still sitting on all the intersections running along L Street and Massachusetts Avenue. They've taken away the big snow plows that they had nose to nose to make sure cars couldn't go down that were there up to 24 hours ago. Now it's just a cruiser sitting on each intersection with their lights on, rotating. So it's still a little bit crazy here in the District of Columbia, but thank you for having me on. I thought your listeners would like to hear that. Hey, happy anniversary. 10 years, brother.
Yeah, and you've been with me.
Congratulations on your success.
Thank you, and you've been with me from day one. You've been here for 10 years, and I got a couple of our other legacy founding advertisers: Americans for Prosperity, Americans Jobs Alliance, Providence Computers, and many, many others. Can't mention them all, but I want to thank you for that. But Mark, you just moved into a new office, right? Those are all new digs, right?
Well, no, I'm in my condo where I live right now,
okay.
Working remotely. So I'm looking downtown. My office is still up in the Georgetown area of Northwest D.C., where we're still working every day. We got everybody in there. And I got to hand it to you, John. We're getting at least half a dozen callers of the John Fredericks Radio Show every single day. You are trucking the truth. Your radio show has just gone bananas, how much it's grown just, I'd say, in the last, 8 to 12 months?
Yes.
I mean, your Twitter followers, just your everything. We get calls every day, and I love engaging with your listeners because they're just educated. They know what they want. They're true patriots. And so, again, congratulations on your success, Georgia, just adding to the list of the John Fredericks listeners and those that you are educating and promoting the truth. And that's the most important thing in our country today.
Mark, the truth will set you free. And so it's very
Amen.
difficult. It's very difficult sometimes because not everybody wants to hear it. And, there's a lot of fake news out there on both sides and a lot of conspiracies that, that I give no attention to and things of that nature. And it's a very volatile time we're in. But the best thing is transparency and truth. The truth will set you free. It'll make you better. There's nothing like it, and that's what we're after here. And so one other truth is, Mark Livingstone at Cornerstone First Financial, let me give you a truism. Homeowners are now $1 trillion richer thanks to the housing boom that we're seeing. $1 trillion, that's with a T. These numbers coupled with another rate drop for the 14th time this year, just a few weeks ago, means that 2021 has now come early for anyone looking to refi, take cash out, lower their loan term, or do the number one thing that everybody should do, get rid of that ridiculous PMI, private mortgage insurance that sucks your blood dry. Mark, can you elaborate on what is going on right now in the market?
Absolutely, John. So what we're seeing is that home appreciation has hit unprecedented levels. And the reason for that is because the lack of inventory and the low interest rates, the lowest interest rates in 50 years, are driving those that were on the sidelines. For example, millennials. Millennials were not taking advantage of buying houses, and they were stuck in their parents' basement, but they've come out in droves. And so they're just one of the type of population that's going to buy houses right now because, again, they're coming off the sidelines because the interest rates are lower. So what that does is when you have multiple contracts on a house, it pushes up what that purchase price is going to be. So say somebody's offering $200,000 and all of a sudden you got 10 people that want that piece of property, they're going to escalate that higher. And so then when that house settles, let's say it went from 200 to 215 or 220,000 because somebody really wanted that property. So it gets bid up to 220,000. That now goes in to the NMLS that it's now worth $220,000, and that pushes all the surrounding properties up also because that house just sold for the 220. That is how the appreciation is happening across the country because we're seeing so many people coming off the sidelines to buy the houses. So that appreciation now allows the neighbors whose home has now been pushed up in value to take equity out of their home to eliminate the PMI, to take cash out to pay off credit cards. You know, credit cards are not tax deductible, but if you wrap them into your mortgage, they become tax deductible. Home equity lines of credit, because of the tax plan a few years ago, are no longer tax deductible unless they're used for home improvement. So a lot of people that took out home equity lines of credit are now able to wrap those home equity lines of credit into their mortgage, get a low 30-year fixed rate in the twos. And so, again, that is how the appreciation is working. Now, we've seen the interest rates drop. Like you just said, John, 14 record-setting drops this year, or last year, I'm sorry, in 2020. And what that's done is just every time the rates drop, it's allowing people, again, to take the equity out. Now, we saw the rates as low as 2.625 just 3 days ago. 3 days ago, 2.625 with 0 points. You know, all of our interest rates, I quote, with 0 points. You might hear a rate being advertised lower, but 9 times out of 10, that lender is charging you points. And a lot of people don't realize, John, that points are not tax deductible on a refinance. They are tax deductible on a purchase, but not a refinance. So our rates are with 0 points, 2.625. Well, when it was announced, John, that the 2 seats in the Senate were taken over by the Dems, the 10-year Treasury yield, which is a direct indicator of where the interest rates are, it breached the 1%, went higher than 1% for the first time since March. What's that translate to? That the rates came off the floor of 2.625 and went to 2.75. Let me wrap all that up in a pretty bow for you.
Okay.
If your listeners are thinking about refinancing or thinking about buying a house, you've got to act now because the interest rates are extremely volatile. They're off their lows. Okay, they closed yesterday at 2.75 on a 30-year fixed with 0 points. So if somebody's thinking about refinancing, hey, honey, should we do that? Well, maybe rates will go down lower. They might, but as of 2 days ago, they went up a little bit for the first time since March. So now is the time to act, whether it's to buy a house, first-time home buyers, we have great specials, refinancing, whether it's a VA loan, FHA loan, whatever it is, now is the time to act. Whatever your goals are for 2021, if one of them is to save money, which is only behind losing weight as the number 2 New Year's resolution, is to save money, lose weight is number 1, then you need to call us. Even if you've been turned down before, call us at Cornerstone first and see what your options are, because your house may have appreciated that 15%, which is across the board, across the country, which they appreciated in 2020. So that's a fire hose of information for you and your listeners. But that is where we are. It's an exciting time to be in the mortgage and real estate arena. And, 50 years from now, when they chronicle everything that's happened during the last year or two, during the Trump presidency and the pandemic and all that, one thing they will note, one of the few positives of the pandemic is just the low interest rates and how housing came together and really, I think, will pull us out of any type of recession.
Mark Livingstone with us. Mark Livingstone, give him a call today, 202-625-1221. His team's standing by. They've saved our listeners millions of dollars over 10 years. I mean, I've had a couple callers, Mark, in the last, 2 months, give me numbers that were staggering. $1,000 a month, $800 a month, $900 a month. This is just money flying out of their pocket going to the gangster banksters. 202-625-1221 or go to cornerstonefirst.com. That's cornerstonefirst.com. They'll be able to help you right there. So the bottom line, Mark, now is you got 2.75 fixed on a 30-year, right? But with the election, with the pending with the pending takeover of the Senate by Chuck Schumer, Biden coming in, you see that forcing interest rates up, right?
Immediately speaking, yes. As in this week, will they come back down? I don't know, but I'm just saying that the Democrats taking the 2 seats in the Senate will likely mean more physical activism in the name of stimulating the economy. So yes, it very well could mean that rates are going up. Now, for the veterans that are listening,
right?
That 2.625, that's on a Fannie Mae loan. Veterans have a whole different deal. They have the VA option, which is outstanding. And that is down at 2.25% on a VA loan with no points.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of my competitors are offering 1.99. Mm-hmm. Yes, we have that too, but you're going to pay a couple points to get it. So if you have
so
a
it's
VA
a bait
loan,
so it's a bait and switch.
It's a bait and switch. Yes, exactly what it is.
Yes, yeah,
if it walks like a duck and sounds like a duck, right?
Yeah, let me ask you this. I just got a text here from Eric in Iowa. He says, John, are they nationwide or only in VA and Capital Region? I'm interested. I'm in Iowa. What can I do? How do you respond to that, Mark?
Unfortunately, we're only licensed in 7 states and the District of Columbia. So Pennsylvania, Maryland, D.C., Virginia, Florida, Colorado, California, and, of course, Georgia, John. Georgia for you.
Georgia. Good.
For you and your listeners, we got licensed in Georgia. And we're ready to take on Hotlanta, Fulton County, White, Georgia, Cartersville, wherever it is down there in the great state of Georgia. We are licensed to take
and
your loan
you've got an office here, right? I mean, you have actual agents here. Right?
Yes, exactly. Not only do we have agents down there, but my processing center with my lady processor friends are all down there in Cartersville, Georgia.
Right. Oh, beautiful area, by the way. A little about an hour north of Atlanta. And
correct. Yeah, exactly.
I did one of my shows there in December. I love going to Cartersville. Also, when Joe plays travel ball for his national team, we have a couple annual tournaments there. I forget the name of the park, but it's right up there in Cartersville. It's right behind the mountains. It's beautiful there. But yeah, look, Georgia's big, but you want to give Mark Livingstone and his team a call today and save money. 202-625-1221. 202-625-1221. You got a question for Mark? You can call in 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646, or you can text me 757-692-1710. And Michael in Chesapeake, Virginia, texts in. He says, please ask Mark, what are the rates on 15-year loans?
Hey, great question, Michael. Great question. It was 2.375 2 days ago, and today it's at 2.5, 2.5. And again, that's with 0 points. So if you want a lower rate, you can buy it down. But on a refinance, I don't usually recommend that. And for your listeners that don't know, 1 point is 1% of the loan amount. And it typically takes 5 years to pay off 1 point. So you recoup the savings in 5 years, and then you have the lower monthly payment after 5 years. Mm-hmm. Again, on a refinance, it's not tax deductible. On a purchase, it's fully tax deductible. Mm-hmm. So it behooves you, if you have extra money, let's say you're downsizing and you sell your home and you have a lot of cash to put down on this house, it might make sense to pay that point. And again, this is an option. Each individual person that calls, we're going to walk through what your options are, what your specific situation is, and what your options are. But again, the VA IRRRL is extremely attractive at 2.25. The IRRRL, the interest rate reduction refinance loan, available to those that currently have a VA loan, can qualify for this VA IRRRL and just take advantage of it. And John, there was a bank rate survey that just came out a couple weeks ago that said 27% of homeowners don't know what their interest rate is, and so therefore haven't taken advantage of these low rates. I had a John Fredericks listener that called me last week, and he's at 5%. And I said, 5%? That's so high. Do you have challenge credit? Did you have challenge credit? Why do you have 5%? He goes, I just never knew what my rate was. So I haven't taken advantage of refinance in 6 years. The rates were at 5% back when I took this loan out. But so I encourage those listeners that aren't sure, like, wow, that sounds great. Mark's a good guy. John's a great guy. If you don't know what your interest rate is, do yourself a favor. It takes 5 minutes. Find your mortgage statement. It's got the rate on there. Call us, send us that mortgage statement, and we'll work up a free proposal for you.
You can't beat that. 202-625-1221, 202-625-1221, or go to cornerstonefirst.com. Got a couple texts here. Tom Dickman in Florida says, tell Mark I'm going to call him about 2 homes today when you get off the air. Tom, that's 202-625-1221 because you're in Florida. So Tom wants that. Eugene in Chesterfield, Virginia says, right now 70% of what I pay goes to principal. If I refinance, won't it drop to about 10%?
Great question. It depends on the term of the loan. So you're correct. 10% would go to principal if you take out a 30-year loan. However, if 70% of your payment is going towards principal, you would need to take out a 15-year loan to make sure that you have the same amount going towards principal. If you want more to go to principal, then shorten the term. Go from 15 to 10. You know, Cornerstone is one of the very few companies that can customize your loan term. So I had somebody yesterday who was like, hey, I only have 17 years left, so I guess I need to take a 15. I said, no, we can offer 17-year loans, 18-year loans. We can set the term to whatever you want. You choose whatever the term's going to be. So great question, but the shorter the term, i.e. a 15 versus a 20 or a 10 versus a 15, the shorter the term, the more money goes towards principal.
Excellent. Let's see if I've got you're in Pennsylvania, right?
Yes, sir. Pennsylvania.
All right. So Sam in Pittsburgh says, if I've got 3%, what can you do for me?
3%. Well, you can get a 15-year, and we'll get you down around 2.6, maybe 2.5 if they come back down to that level. 3%. I usually say the threshold, John, is about 3.1, 3.2. If you have that or higher, then we should definitely check out your mortgage. However, he may want to take cash out. We don't know. Does he have a home equity line of credit? Does he want to pay off some credit cards? Because you're not going to get money cheaper than what it is now. And if you can pay off a 21% credit card and wrap it into your mortgage and make it tax deductible, and then take that payment that you were paying and put it towards your principal to pay it down quicker, then that makes sense, doesn't it?
Hey, if you can save money, it makes a lot of sense instead of paying it to the banks. 202-625-1221, 202-625-1221, or go to cornerstonefirst.com. That's cornerstonefirst.com. This is a much better way to make money than following John Fredericks' football bets. It's insured. You bet my teams. In fact, if you really want to make money, you should do the exact opposite of what I say. That's what Ann always says. Just do the opposite. You're guaranteed to cash a ticket.